Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyimla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us his beautiful truth. Just want to say Tawada to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I wanted to touch on this article in Radar Online about Dolly Parton. It says, Bible-Thumping Dolly Parton's God-fearing final days reveal she doesn't curse or sing about Jesus as she thinks it will stop her getting her wings in heaven and reuniting with her husband, Carl. So if you're familiar with, the story, her husband recently passed away, I think a few months back or so. But just to show these people have absolutely no idea what the Bible really says, man. They really believe that, there's this white guy coming back, blonde hair, blue-eyed white guy named Jesus is coming back, and that there's going to be this heavenly, cloudy, puffy place in the skies, which, the scriptures talks about heaven being on earth, man. See, the so-called white man, they're in their heaven right now. And if she's a so-called white woman, she would be considered to be an Edomite, even though even though there are Israelites that look like her. She could actually be an Israelite. But if she's not an Israelite, she's going directly into slavery, man, into captivity, man, in the new kingdom. She's older now, and overall, if she's still alive when those thermonuclear missiles hit this place, she's going to be burnt to smithereens, and she's going to come back in the kingdom as a slave, you see? Because even when you get the Lord's Prayer, right? Let me see here. So, Salakia, bear with me. Okay, so you can see this is in red letters, so we know that this is the Lord, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus, but his name is Yahushai, which means that he's the Savior or deliverer in the Paleo-Hebrew. Because there's no letter J in Hebrew. The letter J was invented in 1524, 500 years ago. So if the Lord walked the earth 2,000 years ago, his name could not have been Jesus. And the scriptures describes the Lord as being a dark, melanated man, not some blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy. And, Esau, the so-called white man, got his hands on the scriptures. He started whitewashing the images and, giving the world all these movies about white people being the righteous, when actually they're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. But let's get the Lord's Prayer here real quick. I'm going to start at verse 7, Matthew 6 and 7. It says, But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And the name of the Father is Yahweh, and that name is very important. Yahweh, meaning he exists, or the existing one. Right? And the true name again of the Son is Yahushai, which means he's the Savior or deliverer in the Paleo-Hebrew, and he's coming to save the children of Israel out of the hands of their enemies, according to Luke chapter 1. If you read through Luke chapter 1, it'll give you the entire breakdown as to why the Lord is really coming. You know what I'm saying? He's not coming to save no heathen. It says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as it is in heaven. So the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to be on this planet. Just so happened the children of Israel are going to be here on this planet with, new bodies. Bodies that won't, decay, But again, so let's just prove the point on this letter J thing. But, I mean, these people, they've been lied to, man, and they're going to see that they've been lied to, and they're going to be pretty upset because this lady is worth damn near $1 billion, man. She could just be living her life, you know what I'm saying? But she's really trying to so-called live good, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? So she can, supposedly meet her husband in heaven again. Oh, you're going back to the heavenly realm because that's where we all go, I'll grab that too. But let me see. But as to her standing side by side with her husband, she can forget about that shit. Okay, it says the letter J was added to the English alphabet as a distinct letter until around the 17th century, though the distinction between I and J are representing separate sounds was first articulated by Gian Giorgio Trissino in 1524, which he was a grammarian. It says earlier forms, initially I and J were considered the same letter. See that? Though the sounds they represent were different. And, when you look at the, in the New Testament, where they try to do a translation or transliteration, because it's not an actual translation, they say Iesus or Iesus, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the name of the Lord, because he wasn't Greek. He was an actual Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, or they would say, or in the Hebrew would be Yahweh. Because again, there was no letter J back then. No one was calling John, James, Joshua. Those that didn't exist when the Lord walked the earth, man. Okay, it says an Italian grammarian, Gian Giorgio Trissino, is credited with making a clear distinction between the sounds of I and J in 1524, effectively establishing J as a separate letter. See? So the letter is only 500 years old. So if the Lord walked the earth 2,000 years ago, his name is not, that's just common sense. And then also, the word Jesus in the Latin, it means earth pig. See? So, let me get this one scripture on, I think it's, what is it? Is it 12 and 7? Salaki, bear with me real quick here. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. It says, then, this is what happens when when people pass away. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. And that's for everybody. That's whether you were considered to be wicked, whether you're considered to be righteous. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's spirit goes back to the Lord that gave it. There's no such thing as this burning place underground called hell. Because hell is a condition. You know what I'm saying? Because the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're in a hellish condition right now. And Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's in his heaven. He was given the fatness of the earth. He's living out his kingdom. So when our kingdom comes, it's going to be a role reversal. See? So again, it says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it. That's what happens to your, when you die. But you got these so-called white people, they're telling you about, with the hell doctrine, that purgatory lie, the fables of some red guy being underground with a pitchfork, standing around a lake of fire, and he's torching everyone, and this place is somehow in the middle of the earth or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not true, man. That's not scriptural. As a matter of fact, it's another one. Let me see if I can find it. Salakia. Okay, so this is Job chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, why died I not from the womb? Salakia. Why did I not? Okay, let me start that back from the top. Job 3 and 11. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept. Then had I been at rest, right? With kings, this is the point here, with kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as in hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling. See, so the wicked is there. It says, there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. See that? So everyone is there. That's like when you get the account of King Saul, when he summoned, or he had this medium, this damn witch, whatever, call up Samuel, because he wasn't hearing from the Lord. And his medium, he got this medium to call up Samuel, and Samuel told him, like, hey, look, y'all, you gonna be with me today, you and your sons, basically, once y'all get killed, right? Now the Lord had rejected Saul and placed the evil spirit upon Saul, but still his spirit went back to the Lord. So, it's evident, man. So let me see what else she had in this article. So yeah, her wanting to be back with her husband, all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? People have a zeal for Yahweh. It's just not according to knowledge. See, she has no idea that if she's an Edomite, if she's really a so-called white woman, and she's done a lot of charity too, cause she do a lot of shit. She's a very as far as I've always known, to be a generous person, as far as with her wealth. You know what I'm saying? She's been helping people. But if she's an Edomite, that shit not gonna make no difference. She's going directly into captivity with the rest of her people. It says she is praying a lot and wants to make sure she's granted her angel wings, see, to heaven, so she can see Carl once more. So she's believing that there's this place in the sky that you're gonna be. No, that you're gonna be in hell right here on this planet. That's not to say she is wishing her life away. She just wants to ensure she'll be reunited in heaven with Carl when her time comes. And so she can forget about it, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I said, now there are Israelites, don't get me wrong, there are Israelites that look like her. Well, she was a pretty attractive so-called white woman back in the days. Like, she's not bad looking now. Yeah, she was definitely a real pretty lady back in her heyday. But her ass is going directly into captivity, or she could pop up in the kingdom and be some brother's concubine, because she's not gonna be with Carl in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, Carl, both of them could be in a damn field working hard as hell, because they're gonna build up our kingdom. Revelation 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 9 here. It says, "If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints." So their people again, if she's an Edomite, led our people into captivity. So she's got her people, all of them, every last single, even the ones that like her, that's generous. You know what I'm saying? Like, because all Jake, you know what I'm saying, that went into captivity was super wicked. You know what I'm saying? Even though, we're in these fleshly bodies, so, of course we sin. But, you had, like the captivity of Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Daniel wasn't a wicked man. He wasn't, just, blatantly out and just didn't believe in the Lord, doing a bunch of idol worship and shit like that. No, Daniel was a righteous man, but guess what? He was in captivity with the rest of the Israelites, man. So let me get this one. Galatians 6 and 7. It says, "Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." So Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, became a nation of people, right? And that nation of people has held the Israelites in captivity for the past couple of 100 years, man, and they're gonna pay for that shit. And here's one in let's get what's it, Job? I think it's let me see, Slakia 34. Job 34 and 29. It says, "When he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble?" And this is talking about Yahweh, the Lord, the Father, the Most High. "And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only." So the Lord, he's in control of whose kingdom is at top and whose kingdom is at the bottom. Because the Lord sets up kingdoms and breaks kingdoms down, man. That's, just the way that it is. So the same way us as the children of Israel went into captivity as a whole, they're going into captivity as a whole, And again, her intents, she, like I said, again, some, people have a zeal for the Lord, but it's just not according to knowledge. Because you can go to one of these so-called white people's churches, man, and you step your nigga ass in one of them churches, they calling the police on you. They're not going to want you to worship with them, as far as their white Jesus, but they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying, how righteous they are and how much they love the Lord. They're not going to be welcoming. You know what I'm saying? You go to some of these so-called white people's neighborhoods and walk your ass into one of them churches and see how they be looking at you. So, like I said, again, her intentions might be, be good, but, she's going into captivity if she's an Edomite, man. His ass too. And again, you know what I'm saying? If she come back into the kingdom, she worth $650 million. God, yeah. But if she come into the kingdom, back into the kingdom looking like how she used to look back in the days, yeah, she going to be a concubine to somebody. One of the men of the Lord. Because again, like I said, she's not a bad looking chick. Matter of fact, let's see here. Back in the days, man, yeah, she used to be something else, boy. This wasn't a bad looking chick back in the days. Big old tatas. I think she might have had a breast reduction though. She was born in 19. Oh no, okay. She was married and because they was together for a long ass time. And she's 5 feet tall. I didn't know she was that old. You know, she 80 years old. And then 79. Well, let's get some images. Let's see if they got some of them old school images of her. Yeah, she looking crazy as hell in some of these damn hairdos. But no, she was a baddie back in the day. Shit. This her right here. Yeah, she wasn't bad looking at all. For real. I ain't gonna front, boy. Dolly Parton, boy, was a little baddie, boy. Yeah, they don't have a lot of older pictures of her. Here's an older one. I don't know how old she was on this one, but yeah, Dolly, man. Shit, boy. Y'all better cut it out. Here she go right here. One of them. That old country cowgirl look. Yeah, that girl was nice back in the days. Nice little shape on her. She could be a Jake though. She might actually be an Israelite, but who knows? Like I said again, if her ass is a Edomite, she's going directly into slavery right along with Carl. So I'm gonna end out there, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashal in the Bubble Ball.